Hello, good morning. My name is Nalibra, and I'm going to be your dietitian today. It's nice meeting you, Miss Taylor.
Oh.
What brings you in today?
Well, I have congestive heart failure. Just recently started getting pretty serious. I used to weigh 150 pounds. Now I weigh 190, and this is very recent. Just like I'd say about last month, or I guess 5 weeks. I'm only 5'5", and a doctor has already scared me enough. So I just really want to work on my diet. No dietitian can help me, and so I'm here today just to kind of hear what you have to say. Maybe help me figure out something that I can do, like some goals or yeah.
Okay, so I'm happy you're here today. And the first thing I'm gonna do is, do you know what congestive heart failure is?
The doctors briefly mentioned it to me. I know it has something to do with the heart, and that my left ventricle is like pumping or not pumping good or something like that.
Okay, so technically, congestive heart failure is based on the buildup of fluids within your lungs, and the body of the cavities are resulted in a heart disease. So this is a great example.
Okay.
Let me see. Okay, so this is what a healthy hearts look like.
Okay.
So this is an occluded artery, and this is what being healthy, do you want to hold it?
Yeah, yeah.
And then at the back, it's based on your cholesterol buildup causing the blood flow to decrease.
Okay.
So over time, your muscles tends to work harder, which, are you having any kind of chest pain? And this is what's causing, because it's occluded. Exactly.
Okay.
So that's a general idea of congestive heart failure, fluid retention.
Okay.
A lot of heavy feeling on your chest, or even in your kidneys and stuff like that, which also leads to edema, like if you see your ankles swollen. Okay, so those are some stuff that we need to watch out for.
Okay.
Another thing, can you tell me a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm only 44 years old.
Okay.
And I mentioned I used to weigh like 150, but now I'm already like 190. I like to walk a lot. I drink a lot of water, like a lot. This is like just thirsty, and I'll make sure water's better than drinking other things. So why not just drink water? But yeah.
So can you tell me about your 24-hour recall? Did you set the 24-hour recall?
Yeah, so let's see. Yesterday morning, I had 2 fried eggs.
Okay.
I had about 3 pieces of bacon, some pork bacon, coffee with some creamer. I think it's about like maybe a cup.
A cup, okay.
And then some orange juice.
And is that a cup?
Yeah, that was a cup as well.
Perfect. And what did you have for lunch?
For lunch, I had a turkey sandwich with some cheese. I think it was American cheese, and then some lettuce and tomato. And that was on white bread.
Okay. And was that a full or a half?
That was a full.
Okay.
Yes. And then I had some chips on the side.
And how many?
I'd say about like maybe almost 2 handfuls. I just kind of grabbed in there, put it on the plate, and then I also had a 16-ounce bottle of Coke. Since I was at work, I just grabbed it from the vending machine. So
okay.
I have that.
And for dinner?
Dinner I had. I ate out, so try not to eat out too much. I still eat out like 3 to 4 times per week. Otherwise, I just try to eat out at home, like eat healthy food, whatever, Yeah, but I had pizza. I had 3 slices of pepperoni pizza, and then like 3 cups of water. Like I said, I drink a lot of water, so maybe at least 3 cups per meal, if not in between 2.
Okay.
So.
And what we could do right there, before that, anything else? Any snacks or any additional
I had
stuff?
maybe some like jerky, because it's good on protein, whatever, and stuff like that. So some like maybe 3 pieces of jerky, like I'd say about that big.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm gonna apply is we're gonna look at the DASH diet, because you stated some information that sounds alarming. So we want to address those issues up front, which we could set goals
Okay.
At this point as well. So before I jump onto the DASH diet,
Mm-hmm.
based on your information, you said you are 190 pounds.
Yes.
Prior, you were 150 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
and your height is 5'5".
Mm-hmm.
So I calculated your BMI,
Okay.
which it is 32,
Okay.
and
Is that bad?
yes. So what we want is the range from 19 to 24 is
Okay.
okay. Once you're over 30, we classify it as obesity.
Okay.
So, but this is something that we could incorporate in your goals. So
Okay.
we could address that while we're doing this, just to make sure that, you have some things that you could attain
Mhm.
and do it your way with the help from a dietitian.
Okay.
Okay, and also your family members.
Yes.
Okay. So another alarming factor, you stated that you drank a lot of water.
Yes.
And
Is that bad?
yes, from my understanding, based on your prior weight, which it was 150 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
you said within 5 weeks' time, you've gained 190 pounds. So after doing the calculation,
Uh-huh.
I subtract that, which leads to 40, and I divided that by 5, which it works out you're gaining 8 pounds per week.
Okay. Yeah.
So we need to limit the fluid intake,
Okay.
because we don't want to add too much fluid when your body's already retaining fluid.
Okay.
So this is your DASH diet is the prevention method in order to stabilize your intake.
Okay.
So basically, we want you to have more grains, veggies, fruits, fat-free and low-fat milk or
Okay.
products in general. And then we want you to eat your lean meats, which it could be like a chicken breast, which
Uh-huh.
is easy to cook.
Uh-huh.
We want you to also include fish.
Okay.
So like salmon has good amount of omega-3 as well. Your nuts, seeds, and your legumes.
Okay.
And your fat and oil. For your fat and oil, we want you to have it, but limit the amount that
Limit
you're
it. Okay.
using.
I can do
And
that.
then for sweets and sugar, we want to have none of that, because if you're incorporating a lot of sweets and sugar, that's gonna lead to hyperglycemia.
Kind of said that to me, so I know we're gonna watch my sweets.
And do you have goals based on the DASH diet that are attainable for you to do?
Well, looking at the vegetables, that one stood out to me. I realized I don't eat too many vegetables a day, but I know it's good for me. I know it has a lot of nutrients in it. It's good for my body. And so I think I could start increasing my vegetable consumption, maybe 2 to 3
Okay.
cups or servings.
And you made a good point too. Based on your body weight
Uh-huh.
in kilograms, I've calculated your kcals.
Okay.
So which it comes to 1,577.2.
Okay.
Which I'm going to round that up to 1,600 calories.
Okay.
So here on the DASH diet, you have a calorie intake of 1,600.
Okay.
So your serving size would definitely be 3 to 4.
Yeah,
for
so it's not
vegetables
even-
and stuff like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So
These
that's
things
awesome.
like that I could start working on incorporating those vegetables into my diet more.
Okay, so remember the leafy green vegetables
Okay.
because they're high in potassium.
Okay.
And we also want you to increase your calcium,
Mhm.
your magnesium, and your fiber.
Okay.
Okay. Fluids. Do you have any goals for fluids that are attainable to you?
How much is recommended?
Ideal is 1,500 milliliters for fluid.
Okay.
And from the look of it, you're overdoing that, which
Watching just how much I'm drinking
Yes.
throughout the day. Probably drink about like almost 10 cups on average.
so we can
10
decrease
units.
that, and now you know how much
Mhm.
you're supposed to incorporate in your diet. You could measure and calculate your fluid intake.
Yeah. Yeah, I could do that too. Yeah.
Okay, so the next goal is your sodium. We want it to be easy for you, and your sodium is basically your salt intake.
Okay.
So we want you to limit your salt intake, and if you have, like, say you said you went out often to eat,
Uh-huh.
they always have like the salt, the black pepper, and stuff like that on the
Mhm.
table. Would ask you to remove that, because
Okay.
that will give you an indication. Oh, I need salt. Let me pour it on my food. So
Yeah,
if you
it could
move
be
it away,
tempting.
so you don't have to worry about that, and then
Mhm.
over time, your taste bud would come in where you don't need the salt. So
That's a good
gradually decrease it.
Yeah, so I like that. So I could start just paying attention to the salt on the table, get it out of sight, and watch how much extra salt, you know, I could do that. I could pay attention to that.
Do you have any family members?
Yeah, I'm really close to my mom.
Okay.
She lives like down the road from me, and she comes over a lot. I have a couple of teenagers, and we're pretty close. And then besides my church group, but that's about it.
That's good. And you know, it's easy, you know, to be a mom with 2 kids. So you want to stay around longer just for them,
Right.
you know. So you could incorporate the DASH diet, the high fiber diet, you know, stuff like that with them. So you guys could do that together at home.
Okay.
You know, they'll help you and you help them.
Yeah.
You know, I want to touch bases on is your food labels.
Okay.
It's very important, you know, for you to understand the food label because it gives a lot of information that is valuable to you, so you could have an idea of what you're taking in and how to calculate it.
Yeah, and like, oh, the sodium's right there. So
I know, and that's a lot. The first option is based on your nutrition fact, based on your serving size and stuff like that.
Okay.
So right here it says for package, the serving size in the container is 170 grams.
Okay.
And that's, the container is like per 1 serving.
Okay.
And then for number 2, the second option is just basically your nutrition values.
Okay.
So right here, you have your sodium intake, and you see how much that is?
Yeah.
Do you
So
remember?
for that one whole thing, it's 690 milligrams.
So do you remember what your sodium intake was?
I think you said, we talked about 1,500, like 1,500 is a preferred, but 200 or...
Well, for the sodium, it's basically 2,400.
Okay.
And, you know, make your changes and your adjustments based on all of this information. And then number 3 is just the percentages of the values based on what's inside the products.
Yeah, like 29.
And it will give you an outline.
Okay.
And then number 4 is just telling you all the ingredients such as your vitamins, your minerals, and all that stuff that you need.
Okay.
So once again, you need your potassium. What else?
Potassium, fiber, and calcium.
Yes, and magnesium.
Yeah, and magnesium.
So you can see.
Yeah.
So, and this is something that I'll give you in the handout.
Okay, good.
And you could do these with your family.
Okay.
So another goal, do you have any physical activity incorporated in your lifestyle?
Well, I do like to walk,
Okay.
especially at work. I work in an office, so I'm walking around the office a lot, and occasionally I take the stairs, but most of the time I just take the elevator. But besides that, I don't go to a gym. I just walk.
Okay, but you know, you mentioned to me your mom is there and you have 2 teenagers.
Yes.
And you don't have to go to the gym. You could just walk around in your neighborhood, you know, and that counts as exercise. And that will help you decrease, you know, your weight because you're watching what you're eating.
Yeah.
So over time, your high blood pressure would decrease and you'll feel better and you'll be there for your kids and your mom.
Yeah, I definitely can do that. Yeah, that'd be fun.
So do you want to repeat those goals for me?
Okay, so we talked about the DASH diet. I could start focusing on my vegetables. I don't eat too much in a week, let alone day, and so I could start eating more vegetables, maybe 2 to 3 servings a day. And then the second goal is to watch my fluid intake, how much water I'm drinking. So I drink a lot of water, but I would think I could do like 2 glasses per meal, so maybe 6 cups total a day.
Okay.
And then could watch my sodium by paying attention to the added salt that's on the table, so I can move that aside
And
instead of
also,
adding it in.
during breakfast, you add bacon, which bacon also have a lot of sodium in it.
Yeah.
So you could watch that as well, you know, and incorporate like what you see here because we want you to reduce those levels.
Yeah.
So, you know, you could look on your 24-hour recall and make changes based on the DASH diet.
That is true. That's a good way to compare and see where I could start altering things. I like that. That's good. And then talked about the exercising, so walking more
Yes.
with
Your
kids
family.
and my mom, and yeah.
And that will give you a good, understanding based on everything based on your disease.
Yes.
And these are some good ways to incorporate everything that you've learned here today.
Mhm.
My goal is also to be a support system, but remember in your household, your family, alters whatever you do based on your diet
Yes.
and your activities. System for a follow-up appointment
Okay.
to see you in 3 months to
Okay.
see how everything is going.
Okay.
And if there's anything that I need to modify, I could definitely. Before that, do you have any questions for me?
Thank
so much
you.
and have a wonderful day.